Yeah.
Yeah, now it is live streamed. It is coming as the message as live streamed.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Hello, hello, Mr. Gofran.
Topic on design principles for the future. So I'll be talking briefly about what the design challenges of the future will be, and how we are going to address them. So future is unpredictable, and what will happen in the future, we can only predict with the trends which we have set on from the technologies and everything what is going on. So similarly, design will become a very important, play a very important role in future, because a lot of challenges and problems which will come in future will be of very complex design, and will have multiple impacts. So when I'm talking about design principles for the future, I'm not talking about something very the aesthetic principles of design kind. I'll talk about what should be a designer will actually think, or how he will design, and what things he will inculcate or include in his designs, make it so that it is more it is adaptable, or you can say future proof. So first, I will introduce you to my institute. FDDI is one of the premier academic and training institutes which was established in 1986, and it is mainly deals with higher education in the field of footwear, leather design, retail, and allied industries, with under one umbrella. It was established by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and is an niche institute of national importance under the FDDI Act 2017. So we also have a lot of prestigious accreditations which were accredited by we have ISO just ISO 1702 accredited from Germany, Okay, DAX Germany. We have Satra Technology Center, which accredited UK, which accredited us. We also are accredited institute where ISO 9001 and ISO 14,000, which certification with Bureau of Indian Standards and Certifications. So we have a very good infrastructure. We have infrastructure which deals with high quality labs, which we use for not only academic purpose, but also for research and for industry development. We have so we offer in undergraduate programs. We offer Bachelor of Design, which is in footwear design and production. Then we have leather lifestyle and product design. We have fashion design, and we have BBA, retail and fashion merchandise, which is also a very strong point for a part of our FDDI, which has been there for long. We offer postgraduate programs in Master of Design, in footwear design and production. And we also give MBA retail and fashion merchandise. So these are few short introduction to FDDI. Let us go back to our the exact problems that we were talking about. Should we wait for some time, or we should continue, Mr. Pradeep, sir?
I think we should continue. We might run short of time. We have to.
Okay.
We have a time limit, so let's work. Let's start. I think people are joining, so they will join. Yeah, there's still some students joining, so they'll join throughout the session. Let's start.
Let us introduce. So when I'm talking about challenges of the future designer, so first of all, let us understand what are the challenges that we'll be facing. We have jotted out some few of the points or scenarios which will come in future. So if I'm talking about the first scenario, we'll be talking about the knowledge explosion. Now, if I'm talking about knowledge explosion, currently we have data, or you can say data explosion. We have various kinds of data and everything, and we are trying to connect and use that data. But then this future will be of knowledge explosion. Means everything will be a lot of things will be happening. Everybody will be creating new things, and this will become something which will which is day-to-day life. So every second, or you can talk about every day, will having new scenarios, new knowledge coming in, and how we are going to use it, that is one. So that will be very important, that a future when I'm talking about, when everybody is having all the resources, all the material, all the data, and they will be actually using it to create knowledge, and that will again become a it will be hard to tackle. Means as a future designer, you need to understand that you will be not only one who will be inventing or kind of thing. There will people, normal people, like you can talk about kids who will be generating knowledge. Okay, so that is one thing. Then is connectivity. Connectivity will like we are connected, but the future connectivity will be far more important, enhanced from today, and everything that you will be doing, everything that will be taking will be connected to some source or way, and everything will have more collaborations and connectivity. So everything will be open, I think, transparent, and this is something which will actually become a challenge for a future designer. Then when I'm talking about intelligent systems, lot of more everything, or a lot of things around you will become intelligent, which we have already started seeing. And then so probably everything that you will be design will be based on intelligent systems, or somewhere attached to the intelligent systems. Okay, then we'll have AI revolution, that is we'll be talking about is artificial intelligence, which will become very important, which will play a very important part in the future. And the most of the monotonous works, or you're talking about most of the things, will be organized, set by artificial intelligence systems. Data and everything be organized, they will be accessed, and most of the things will be done automatically. So automation will become very important or in future, and whatever you are going to design or things, AI will play a very important part. And also it will also become one of the major rival for future designers and engineers and kind of thing, because they will try to occupy more of the normal or jobs of you, and so there'll be something that you will be competing with in future. So you will, if I'm talking about AI or robots and things, they'll be so if I'm talking about normal aesthetics or normal things, they will be giving more better solutions. So you will have to somewhere you will be using them, and somewhere they will be also giving better solutions than you. So that is something that will become a challenge. Then natural and resource science. So you'll be talking about that resource crunches will start up, because we are already big population of the planet, and so everything that you'll be designing will be around the resources, or how much you are going to use. That will become a very important part of play, a very important part for you as a future designer. So how you're going to use those resources, how you're going to generate that use, how you're going to make that more responsible. So then we'll have economic and social challenges, which will be of different kind, and which will so if I'm talking about connected environment, we are talking about economics, which will be very dynamic because of knowledge and everything that's going on from here. And so that is one again challenge that will become one again a different challenge as you become designers of the future. Then last point that I'll be trying to discuss is hyperdynamic environment. The things will be changing in seconds or minutes. So whatever the scenario, whatever you'll be working on, might be a lot of people might be working on the same thing, and the dynamism of that environment will be such that if you are not quick, or if you are not able to produce it in certain time, it will be outdated. So it's something that is, and some problem that you think that will be there in at one go will not be there after some time. So it's the environment will be hyper dynamic. Okay, so you there will be a lot of solution, or for the same problem there will be multiple solutions.
I think we just lost the connection with Professor Gofran. I suggest we wait a few minutes before maybe he'll rejoin. Let's just wait for a few minutes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, I think your connection dropped for a moment.
Okay.
We lost you. You'll have to share your screen again, Professor.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You were showing us the previous slide, I think, with the list of different activities. Yeah. Is this okay? Fine.
So was I talking about hyperdynamic environment? Okay, done.
Yeah, I think that's what you were talking about. Yeah, if you finished, you can go carry on, please.
Yeah, so I was talking about hyperdynamic environment. So when I'm talking about that environment will become very dynamic and will be ever changing. So to be relevant in that environment, we need to understand that how we are going to utilize this in such a way that we become relevant for a longer period of time. So let us understand how to be relevant. So we'll be talking about 5 major. So there are a lot of things that are coming in, and it is something that we are, it's a continuous process. And I'll be talking about some major things that we'll be inculcating as a future designer or in our designs, which will make our designs future proof, which will make us more relevant. So first thing that we're talking about is to build responsibly. Now, built responsibly, we're talking about if you think when this future, when the resource will be scarce, our all actions will be very critical. So we have to design, or if whatever things we are doing, we have to be critical of our actions. So what things, how it will impact the society, the environment, the world. So impact will become more important than what I'm saying is profit. So the cost will be taken as an impact of your design, not as a use of resources in your design. So that you need to amalgamate with your design cost. So cost of impact will become very important part of your design. So critical of so then we are talking about risk. So you'll have to take responsible design decisions. So design decisions will not talk about something of a solution, but also majorly talk about the responsibility of taking any design decisions, and these how it will affect across the society or across the world, across the population. So that is him. Then we're talking about sustainable design techniques like durability or modularity, or kind of what resources you are going to use, or we are talking about recycling, we are talking about a lot of things. So this will become very integral part of all the designs that you will be making. And so your designs, or any of the designs that will be making, will not actually be isolated from these decisions or these things. Okay, so when I'm talking about, then we are talking about design ethics. Ethics will become very important, very important in your design. So when talking about design, because everything will be transparent, because you are connecting whatever you are doing, the whole value chain of talking about whole supply chain will be transparent to somebody who will be buying or using it. So you are going to source things ethically, design things ethically, or use things ethically. So ethics will become very important part of anything that you are going to design in future. So these are some of the things that we'll be talking. Then we come to then we are talking about interconnected systems. So first thing is that because of so much of integration through internet, through activity and collaboration. So anything that you will be designing will not be for an individual or small population, because what will happen is anything that you are going to put into that will have a system approach. So everything that you are going to design will not be for isolated system or isolated things, but you will have to design, or you will have to create things for the whole associated systems, and you will have to see how it affects each and every part of that system. So you will have to so what we're talking about is system approach to design. So you are not designing for an individual, you are not designing for a problem, but you are designing for a problem of the system. So whatever things, whatever systems which are actually affecting it or in any way in connected to it, you will have to take that in cognition. So you'll have to create a design which is so there will be no individual solutions. So an individual might have a problem, but you will have to understand how that individual or whatever system design or solution that you are giving or inventing, how will it affect the system to which that individual is attached. Okay. And one more thing, that is the system will become more and more complex than today's. Okay, so if I'm talking about transportation, it will become more important. It will become a complex. So one part of transportation will be attached to different other part of transportation, and the users who are going to into it, and the network of transportation. So everything have to be taken into your cognition or in the view of your design. Okay, so when I'm talking about future trends, so future design, so you'll be designing for system. Okay, so a design technique which actually sees system or your design system design approach. When I'm talking about, so you will be talking of taking systems into cognition, not individual. Okay, so if I'm talking at this moment, you are building an architecture or a house. So so it will be not the problem of the person who is going to set the house. You will also talk about each and every process or a house which is connected to. So house will be connected to a, say, a society. It will be connected to a city, and how it so you're going to use water, how you are going to use power, how you are going to drain or the waste generation, how you are going to dispose your waste, how you're going to use the complex or the environment around you. That is, we are talking about trees, talking about the around animals or organisms around you, how that is going to affect. So those things will also important. So designing a house is not about now architecture or design, but also designing a house to understand how it will affect that system. So now that is we're talking about is, because data and everything will be visible that time. So you'll have to design for the system, not individual solutions. Well, then we are talking about this universal design approach. So design will not only talk about design is something that you will not be talking about some small population, but you will have to take cognition, or your approach to the design or solution should be universal. So you'll have to apply the principles of universal design, which are many. I'm just talking about few of it, but there are many things which makes a design universals. Apart from aesthetic approach, we'll be talking about those simple things which we'll have to inculcate, or we'll have to integrate our design to make it more universal, so that it becomes relevant, it keeps relevant. So first thing we're talking about is designing for all. So designing for all means, so whatever you are going to design, it should include each and everybody in that population. Okay, then we are usability over aesthetics. So you'll be talking about usability. You're keeping the usability in a higher pattern than aesthetics. So aesthetic will come later, but usability will be more important in this approach. We're talking about equitable design. So it's a design which is for all, and it uses it doesn't just, there is no disparity from one user to another user. So it should be equitable. Then it's flexible. Your designs should be able to adopt. You should be able to grow. You should be able to use in different environments. So whenever you are going to design, you are going to see how flexible your design is. Otherwise, your designs will actually very short-lived. So short-lived design will not work at the future. It has to be something which has to be there for a long period of time. So flexibility adds on the durability, or you can say the durability of that design. Okay. Then is intuitive. So designs, whatever you are going to design should be intuitive. It will be easy to understand, easy to use. So everything that is, you can say it's a matter of reflex. Okay. So matter of reflex means whatever. So you might have seen a phone, or you can see a child which goes to an iPhone or mobile and starts using the app without even having to teach anything. So that is what I'm talking about, intuitive. So intuitive design should be something which is not very hard to understand, very hard to use. It should be automatically done. Perceptible means you can perceive design, design. So what it is for, or how it is going to work, and kind of thing should be perceptible or easily to perceive in your design. A low effort is, we are talking about anything that you are going to use, anything you are going to make should not take a lot of effort to use it, or to understand it, or cognize it. It should be used in you should have very low, with very low effort, you should be able to use that design, or that thing. So these are some of the design principles, or universal design principles we'll be using in your designs. There are more, and so modularity and kind of things. So they are like hundreds, and every day we are inventing new universal design approach. So that will come. So that approach of universal design is very important in future, because the things you are going to design will not be for an isolated system. That is something you'll have to always take care. Then is we at this moment are trying to make user-centric design, which is UX or user-centric designs, which is very common in your design curriculum. But when I'm talking about coming to the future, we'll be talking about humanity-centric design. It's design which is not a user-centric, but it includes all of the humanity, or all of the population, into your design considerations. So when I'm talking humanity-centric designs, we are talking about a social approach to design rather than an individual approach to design. Okay, so when I'm talking a social approach to design, means you are not going to design for only one individual or one problem. You will have to see if there is a problem with an individual, how it is going to affect the society, or the solutions that you are going to give, can it be expanded to cater the problems of the whole humanity, or whole system, or whole or is it addressing the root solutions, or kind. So empathy will become very important, not in the empathy will of the individual, but also the empathy of the whole people who are connected with that problem. So so we are going to design for the society. We are trying to not to address smaller problems, but we are trying to build up that smaller problem into a bigger problem, where we'll be going to or research how that problem is actually affecting the whole of the population. So if I have a problem, or if I have a fever, or any problem, so how the society is connected to it, and if I'm going to use or deal with that problem, how the society is going to be affected with that problem, or that solution. Or will it actually, my solution for that individual will affect adversely to the society? Then I'll have to think of a new solution, which is different from what solution I'm going to give that to that individual. So because everything is so transparent, everything is so connected and dynamic. So anything that you are actually putting into that system will actually affect the
I think Professor Gofran's connection has dropped again. We'll just give it a few minutes and he'll probably join back.
environment. You'll be
Professor Gofran, your
yeah,
connection dropped again. So can you share your screen again, please?
yeah, is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now. We can see it.
Yeah. So I was talking about you will be not designing an isolated environment, but you will be designing in a place where things are more connected. You will be co-designing with a lot of people. There will be more collaborations, because whatever you are designing, you will be not designing for one individual, but the whole society. So and we'll be talking about not the individual solutions. We will talking about the root solutions. We'll talking about the creating some solutions which is actually handling the root cause, or actually root cause of the problem. So we'll be talking about problems, we'll be seeing problems more deeply, not just the surface, and we'll be making solution holistically rather than individuals. So then is the last we're talking about open designs, or let it grow, which I'm talking about is designs that you are going to make is not now close designed as if now. So it will be more something that you are going to you let your designs grow. Something that is you are going to keep a closed design, or something which is not thing, will be very short-lived in future. When I'm talking about knowledge, there will be knowledge explosion or kind of thing. So something which is closed or very limited kind of design will actually be very short-lived. So you need to be more open to design. Your design should be more open. So we are talking about hackable designs, means you are giving one solution which can be taken by a lot of designers and actually be used, or that thing can be used in various scenarios. So your design should be adaptable. Your design should be hackable. So somebody can take your designs, implement, add some input and make a new solution or kind of thing. So you need to keep that thing or that openness in your design. So when you're going to design for the future, you're talking about something which is more relevant, then you have to talk about more designs which has to come, which should be an open platform. So when talking about more collaborative design, so or you'll be using a lot of crowd, the same thing that you will be also doing. It's not that you will be making only designs, you will be also hacking some designs and some solutions from other, and using those solutions to address the problem of some other problems, some other designs. Okay, so when your designs are adaptable, or designs are able to grow, means something there might be some part of it which is not usable. You can replace it with some other solutions. You integrate some other solutions to it, or the designs to it, and let it grow. So those designs will be the designs which actually will last long in future. Okay, so nowadays when I'm talking about designs which we have IPRs, and we have a lot of designs where we don't want to share our designs or solutions. Those things will actually in future they will not be used, or this will be small lived. Anything that is you giving to the society or more open platform will actually, because those things will, because a lot of people or because of collaboration and crowd intelligence, that design will grow for a long time and it will remain there for a long time. It will actually become a part of the society. So you should make your designs which are more adaptable and hackable. Okay, so that will, if you talk about it, the openness in design. So these are the 5 main things that will actually let you, when you're going to design in future, will let you be more relevant or in future, and something you will have to think. So a designer of future will be more responsible, and he'll be more integrated to society, and will be very important in the society, because most of the things, if I'm talking about future scenarios, monotonous work will be taken by AI, robots, and kind of thing. But the creative will be something which will, the humans or the intelligent mind will have to keep, because creative process is little different from a monotonous process. Okay, and the solutions which we'll be thinking will be broad. Okay, so something that will be more relevant, and if we keep these things into our bag, or into our design ethics, then we surely will be more relevant. Okay, so these are some of the resources you can go and actually see, because these are something which are creating, which in process of creations. So that's all from my side. Any questions from you?
Professor Gofran, before you close your screen, some of our participants joined in a little later. So if you could quickly go through those principles, those 5 principles, not as detailed as you did before, but just briefly sketch over them. Maybe those who came in a little later would be able to get a glimpse of that.
Yeah.
We have some time before we start the question, so we can just go and see what you have spoken about earlier.
Okay, so this basic talk was about the challenges that we will be meeting as a designer of future. And we just discussed some of the probable scenarios. Scenarios might change, and scenarios, we cannot predict all the scenarios, but there are some scenarios which the trends are saying, and therefore I'm trying to keep it. One is the knowledge explosion, which will be happening. So everybody will create new knowledge in small span of time. So another is connectivity. We'll be more connected, integral. Whatever happens in one part of the world will actually affect the different other parts of the world very quickly. Will be more surrounded by intelligent systems and artificial intelligence. So whatever we are going to do, so when systems have become intelligent, so our design process will also be affected in that way. We'll also be facing a lot of economic and resource challenges in future. So whatever we have to design, we'll have to design more responsibly and think how to use it for a long time. And we are also talked about a hyperdynamic environment, which is going to come in future, where everything changes as very quickly because of all the inventions that we are doing, all the things that are happening, or the data information processing, which will be very fast. So so that will create some of the so these are some of the probable environments in the future which we will be dealing with, and to be relevant at that time will become a major challenge, and therefore our design process or design thinking process will have to change to be more relevant on those times. So I have talked about the 5 main things that a future designer will have to see that it is there in their design. One is the responsibility, or we are talking about sustainability in design, where every action that we are going, we'll have to see how it's going to to actually enter, or you can say how it's going to affect the environment and the society and as a whole. So we'll have to be very critical of our actions, and we'll have to see that how it's going to impact the cost of impact to the environment, to the society, how is it. So that is one of the major things that we'll be seeing in our designs. When we are going to designs, we'll have to keep that in mind. Then we are talking about interconnected systems, or so when the systems will be more interconnected, so our designs will be more not for the individual, but we'll talk about system design to improve systems approach to design. So whatever you are going to design, you'll have to design for the system as a whole rather than a small part of that system. So we have to keep, so as the systems are growing complex because of connectivity of one systems to another systems, we are actually trying everywhere, we are trying to connect one into another. So the systems is growing larger and complexer than before. So whatever you are going to do for one system or one part of the system is going to affect the different part of the system. So when I'm going to design, we'll have to design for the system, or so there should be a system approach to design. Then we are talking about universal design approach. Whatever you are going to design, you have to keep the mind that you're designing for all rather than designing for some. So you will have to apply all those principles of universal design into your design, whatever. So universal design principles are actually growing because of the different, but they are something which will always remain. That is usability, means you have to keep usability in mind. It should be equitable, it should be flexible, it should be intuitive, it should be perceptive, it should have low effort, and many more to come. It should be modular, it should be repairable. So all these things will come into universal design approach. So whatever you are making, you should keep all these principles into mind while designing anything in future, which is more future relevant. Then is humanity-centric design. We're talking about we will not be making anything for a single user or a group of users, but we'll be, because everything when we are designing is connected, your design approach will be more humanity centric. So how you're going to solve the problem of the humanity rather than some people. So that because of and for that you'll be needing co-design or your collaborative design. You will be making a more social approach or societal approach to your design, and you will be also talking about developing solutions for the root cause rather than the something that is only we are seeing at this moment. So that is something we'll be talking. Then we're talking about the openness in design, or your design should be open and should be everybody should be able to see what you have designed, how you have designed. So everything that you are going to write, or everything that you design, everything is open. So we'll be talking about more crowd intelligence. We are talking about more collaborative design. We're talking about more open design. We'll be talking about more hackable designs in future. So these are some of the qualities of the designs which will be there, because if it is not there, the most of your designs will be very short-lived. It will not grow or be in future. It will not remain there for future for a long time. So these are some of the 5 things that we have actually discussed today. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Professor Gofran. I think we can take some questions now. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have a question, if any of our participants has a question, you can raise it in the chat box. If you would like to unmute and speak, you can do that, but please raise your hand. You can raise your hand by showing us one of those reactions which you see in your Zoom app or Zoom page. For our participants who are joining us on YouTube, you can raise your questions on the chat box. I'll throw the floor open now for questions. Would anybody have any questions? I think, first of all, I'd like to thank Professor Mohammed Gofran. I think what you have spoken about today is definitely very, very relevant to all our participants here. I think as they grow, I mean, they enter their careers and see things would have changed quite drastically, and things are changing very, very sharply these days. So I'm sure they have some questions, and if you have any, please raise it in the chat box. Before they start, I think I had a question which I would like to ask Mohammed
Yes,
Gofran.
of course.
My thought was, I mean, this is something that has come up recently. I mean, there is design now for the physical world, which we know that there is. There is also something which we hear of a lot nowadays, which is the metaverse, and you hear about
Virtual design.
Yes, virtual design and sneakers being designed for different shoes for characters. I mean, these are some of the things that I've heard of. I'm sure that there will be a lot more happening on both sides. The actual physical world as well as the virtual world.
Virtual world. So physical world will be connected to a virtual world in like few decades, not few decades, it's like 1 decade or kind of thing. So everything what is physically available, which also will be actually designed in a virtual world. So both there will be coexisting of worlds. So anybody who is right now is designing or thinking only about physical world will have to also think about the virtual world and how those designs will affect that virtual world. So that is why I'm talking about connected systems. So systems will grow larger, and so you'll not be living on your only apartment. There might be an apartment in metaverse kind of thing. So whatever things that you are actually buying at the physical thing, which they will also give you some tokens or kind of things to buy the same thing, which will be appearing in your virtual world. So that is something which is going to be happening right now. So designers at this moment are not only somebody who's going to aesthetical design things, but technological inputs will be very important. Somebody so getting into virtual world or designing in virtually or 3D will also become a very important part. So collaboration, that is why we're talking about collaborative designs. So a designer will not work in one single way. He'll be having a lot of people around him or collaboration around him because he wants to design it for every other systems.
That's interesting. I mean, there's all something I have thought of, because as you get into the virtual world, you will be interacting with a lot of things virtually.
The same interaction will happen in the virtual. As a person, see, I have bought a shoes, so I will just not try to show it off in my physical world around it, but I will also try to show it off in my virtual world, where I'll be connected to a lot more people around the world. So that is something going to happen.
The other thought I had was about IPR, the intellectual property rights. When you talk about designs which are hackable, how does that affect the designer per se? Because right now a lot of designers, they're
very skeptical of showing what they have done. Yeah. See, understand, when I'm talking about is the knowledge explosion, something that see, understand. I'll give you one example. I found out I observed a problem, and I saw that that in future, related to the trend of the technologies, and something that I did in 2006, around 2006, I wrote a white paper or kind of thing, which the technology is not available right now. Okay, so right now also it is not available, it's not possible. But when I tried to find it about it, I understood somebody in 1980s have written the same kind of problem and solution kind of thing. So 30 years beyond, I was thinking on the same thing, and somebody in the future will be thinking on the same thing. So understand, when so that is when the data or informations were actually not you can see is not accessible to people. So if I'm talking about the future when data and information is accessible to many, knowledge of obviously to be relevant in kind of things, you will have to open your design, because whatever you're designing, somebody will give you a better solution in days or 2 days or minutes. So things will be happening such a way. So if you want to design, or you want to keep your designs more relevant, you will have to collaborate, you will have to make things open so that somebody could add it on continuously to keep it relevant for a longer and longer period of time. So that is something. And if you're talking about IPR, when you open your design, it is no more something that you keep a secret. Right. So IPR is automatically generated, and in that system, when I'm talking about future, so whatever you will be doing is automatically will be registered with the IPR. So whatever activities, I think so.
So, we have a question on YouTube, which came in during this time. Was could you please tell how your experience has been in the design field as a career? So this question is to you, Professor. Could you please tell how your experience has been in the design field as a career?
In the last 10 years, see, I am not a designer by, if I'm talking about designer, I'm engineering by training. So I did a degree of engineering, and I'm designer by experience, by reading and teaching and kind of thing. But engineer and designers are both same kind of thing. So you, if I'm say as a designer for 10 years, you should be evolving, you should be more open to whatever you are seeing and things. So designer, if he doesn't evolves, he will be not relevant after some time. So my experience as a designer, what I will say is that if you are interested, you are creative, innovative, you will have to be more relevant, you will have to be open, observant, and more as you should assimilate more things that are coming to it. Okay, so I have been an educator for last 10 20 10 more 15 years or kind of thing. So you as an educator, I'm not only a designer, but actually I'm actually a guiding people. So I need to assimilate a lot of things, and whatever things are they coming up, we'll have to take care of to make the students or things, people, whatever people who are coming across more relevant or giving more relevant information. Okay.
Thank you, Professor. Is there any other questions from any of the participants? Please feel free to put it in the chat box. There's a question that has come to me. What entrance exams does FDDI accept? Does it have its own exam?
FDDI has its own exam, but it also accepts the score of USEED. So when you go to website, you will be given two options. Either you want to get admitted through USEED or the score of USEED, or you have we have All India test, which happens in June. So you will be talking about, so you can give that exam also, and from that you can bid. So we accept two kinds of two methods in which you can get admitted. One is USEED, or you can opt for the internal exam of FDDI.
Thank you, Professor. I think that answers the question. I have another question from another participant. Archita Purwar is asking how you deal with creative blocks.
Pardon me?
How you deal with creative blocks. You know, you have a creative block when you can't design or you can't think of any ideas. How do you deal with that? How do you personally deal with that, or how does anybody deal with it?
Creative block is see, understand, when you try to actually find the solutions in isolation, you actually come up with creative blocks. Okay, so when you are trying to design something in isolation, so that is what we are talking about, that the future is not about designing in isolation, designing in collaboration, or designing in so creative block can be actually deal with when you collaborate with people or collaborate with the users and kind of thing. So that is why we have design process, which in which we have ideation process, or we are talking about brainstorming, we are talking about surveys, we have research and kind of thing. So the creative block is something that is not long lived if you are trying to going through the correct process. Okay, the process is important. Okay, so if you follow the process, there will be some solutions. It might take time, but solutions will come along. Okay, so solutions will come along. So that is why the creative block can always be dealt with collaboration. So you will have to see that there is no question and no idea that is wrong. You will have to see every idea. You have to keep on getting more and more ideas for more and more people. Okay, so that is how you can deal with creative blocks.
Thank you, Professor. I hope that answers your question, Archita. Anybody else? Do you have any questions? If you please feel free to raise it now. We'll be closing in a couple of minutes. All right, Professor Mohammed, I think that's the only questions we have for now. And I think I mean, personally, I found it a very interesting topic to understand how design will be in future and how to deal with it, how to go about the process, and how to, what are the different principles that apply to design in the future. So I, on behalf of all the participants here at this webinar, as well as all the members, all the team of DQ Labs, thank you very much for the session. And I'm sure we all learned a lot about you, about FDDI, and about design principles of the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our participants for being part of this webinar. We'll look forward to your participation in the coming webinars too. Thank you so much.